We are Brightside Theater.
Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the snores. No, not this week, no.
And Todd.
and Todd.
What's up?
Effing Todd.
That's pretty much all I'm good for is instigating, apparently.
Persuasion.
Well, you kept trying to do it, but thanks for coming back. Well, a little short stint at the beginning here because I know you're busy. That's the peek behind the curtain to even John and Steve and everybody. The easiest way to get Todd, give him a short timeline. And he's like, oh, sure, I can do that. Todd, you got time to chat where I leave it open-ended? Nope.
No.
Because we could go 24 hours.
Because it's you. If it was me, he'd be all right.
I know.
I know what's going to happen, DJ. In about 35, 40 years, I'm going to be in the hospital. My last moments, and they're going to wheel you in next to me. I'll be like, no.
It'll seem like a lifetime.
Yeah.
You got 5 minutes to live. Chance. Just let me start talking. It'll seem like a lifetime.
That's good.
I'm nothing if not realistic.
I can't believe you're back behind the microphone, to be honest. I mean, are you guys amazed also?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
Why?
I've learned, if nothing else, over the past year, appearing with these guys, I've learned that nothing keeps Deej down, and never underestimate him because he will go. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He will go and go and go and go and go. And so, 25 hours later, he was just as fresh as when he started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get to that in a minute. I first and foremost, we've got some donations that came in during the week and over the weekend, and we got to lead off with that, and then we can get to some fun stuff that took place, that transpired over the weekend. But we've got Gurinder. Gurinder hit us with a $20. Let me bring it up on the. Where's my share? Did it disappear? All right, hang on a second. Anyways, I don't have the image up for it, but Gurinder hit us, and then he sent us an email. It's time for a large box of popcorn. Congratulations on 1,000, on to 100,000. Have fun on the weekend with the 24-hour podcast. LOL, you could always use a catheter if you want to be on screen the whole 24 hours. So I did pretty good in that respect, and we'll get to that in a second. Ren, $50 box of popcorn. Wow. Thank you very much, Ren. And his message is, hi, DJ. I've been listening to your podcast for almost a year and just made a popcorn donation, which is long overdue. I just want to thank you for all your hard work and for keeping us entertained. I use that loosely. I just want to thank you for all. Big thanks to John and Steve, too. You guys are a great team. Lastly, congrats on your 1,000 YouTube subs and good luck with your 25-hour live stream. I know it's going to be a blast. Plus, it's 25 hours of content for my daily bike rides and long drives. Yahoo! Regards, Ken. So,
Ken or Ren?
Ren, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Ren. See?
Are you Renough?
Yeah, you Renough. Yes, we'll be getting to that later too. So, let me find out what happened with why my live stream, my images, because we're not going anywhere. But yeah, guys, so back to what we were saying. But thank you everybody for the donations in the show. I mean, Todd, $49. You didn't have to do that, buddy. $49 in the live stream. We had people, I think the total is still coming because it goes by days, and it's like I look at my YouTube and it's like we're up to like 125 from the day or something like that. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like somebody else later, Todd, gave another $49.99 like you did. I'm sorry, I forget. I should have written all these things down, but it was like there's $5, $4, $1 members, stuff like that. So it was just. We didn't do it for that. We'll get to next year. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up. But yeah, it was amazing, and pretty much from my perspective, I didn't understand what Steve was saying at the end of the night, at the end of the morning. And he's like, well, when DJ gets some perspective, we'll talk about it. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. Going back, I still haven't finished the notes yet to all the shows, but going back and I have to scrub through everything. And I'm sitting there. I can't tell you guys how much that flew by because I have to fly through the conversations to get to the next person, right? And I'm writing the timestamps and I'm like, this was 8 hours later. I talked for 8 hours when I hit this person, and it felt like the next person. It was amazing, but yeah, let me work on this for a sec, get us back up and running. But go ahead. Anybody else? I got some stuff to do.
What I was surprised by, what struck me, and I suppose I should have known that it was going to happen, but there seemed to be a genuine buzz over the weekend about it. It kind of went beyond YouTube. It was on Twitter. People were talking about it. It was it stretched beyond it. And the proof of that is in the viewing numbers on the YouTube videos as well. There's 600-700 views on each segment. Wow. It's serious numbers for us. For what we're used to. Yeah. And it really did seem to be a buzz. And as I was sort of dipping in and out of it over the day, it was fun to see all the different comments, people just jumping in, people we've never kind of had in the chat before. It did seem like it was something that took off. And on beyond that, then was the awesomeness of everybody just hanging around. I mean, you thought, I know you did because you said, and I thought too, it would be 1 hour to an hour to an hour, and that's how it would go. And yet people were just hanging out. It would just drop by, just stay on, and you want to join in, feel free. And I'm sure it was a surprise to you, Todd, when you came on towards the end, and there were like 8 people in the room, just all chatting and just kind of, and it was to me when I jumped on as well at 2 a.m. Just people just hanging out. It's like you just walked into someone's front room.
9 people at 11:30, 12 o'clock. Well, my time, I don't know.
Yeah.
1 o'clock or so in the morning for DJ. 9 people. So
it's pretty amazing.
It was almost like having an open house. Just kind of drop by. If you want to come on in, feel free and just stay a while. It was very free flowing conversation as well. I thought was great. No awkward pauses. Everyone was just kind of, fine. Everyone was happy to share their to-do lists. It was great. What in particular? Yes, it was very, very cool. Really good fun. And Deej, you're a legend for sticking with it and getting through it. It's very cool.
I blush and I push back on that because, I was actually thinking about it, why didn't my voice go? Because my voice is gone after conversations with people after 4 hours, but usually I work all day, so I'll have a conversation here or there, but nothing like that. But I'm like, why didn't my voice go? And then I think back and I'm like, there were literally times, like you guys said, we had 9 people in the room at one time when John was there, right? And then 6 to the end of the night. And I got to be a spectator. And it's like, it was great watching people meet people and talk and chat. And the comments I got, I started saving them because, like you said, Steve, there's a buzz in the air and things have grown and things have changed. I think that did do a lot of that. And it's like, I've got multiple comments from listeners. I want to come back and continue our chat. I want to do this. And it's like, because I was chatting with such and such, I want to chat about this now and I want to do this. And that's what I think is fun about it. It's more than when something like that happens organically, like Todd literally was joking. We can't stress enough. We did not plan that. It was a joke. It's on air. And we were like, and that's another thing. I wanted to have that sounder for the show. And I was just like, I never got to it. Right. I didn't miss it. And literally right now I realized I never got to play that, but it's like everything was organic and everything that's coming out of it is organic too. And I think that's what we're kind of all about. It's just just have fun with it. It's like, you'd know it if we started planning it because everything would go haywire and it would be wrong. And watching everybody adapt and it's like people had scheduled hours, but people wanted to stick around. And I'm like, just let this go. And I was afraid, what I was afraid is it was going to stop bouncing people. And we didn't get there, but I kind of wanted to see what would happen.
Did it ever go past 9?
No.
So I think 9 might be the screen limit, right?
It might be, but I think And again, I haven't had time to go back into it, but we didn't. I think it is spelled out how many people I can have.
Okay.
And I thought it was 10, but that would be awkward, right? What do you do?
Yeah,
Throw one more at the bottom?
One more at the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, so that, like maybe it is 9. I don't know. Maybe I can do 12. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it just like I said, and I think the sign that you were so relaxed into it as well, DJ, is you forgot your ticker. So so as we kind of kept on that, I was watching some of it back, and the ticker would be there, and it would go away, and then the ticker would be there, and it would go away.
The listeners, our regular listeners that were awesome, our regular listeners that know and heard, like Todd and I talked about it on Wednesday night, right? So Todd and I do the pre-show, and I go, look, I got this set up. It's regular listeners were there for the full 25 hours, and it was like it. I know they didn't, but it felt like they were taking shifts behind the scenes going, we got to help DJ out. And they were like, DJ, your ticker. DJ, your ticker. And I'm like, okay. Thank you.
They were talking about your heart, not what was going along the bottom of the screen. DJ, your ticker.
Oh.
There were definitely quite a few listeners that seemed to be there almost the entire time. Every time I logged on, they were still in the chat commenting.
Yeah. Well, they just fell asleep. Stayed in the chat.
My son-in-law and my daughter are they're at a vacation place up in, I think, Maine or New Hampshire or something, and they subscribe to Brightside Home Theater on YouTube on the people's account.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Like, so we picked you up a new one. It's like because they're at like a B&B or something like.
And it'll stay forever because they'll never know.
Right.
Exactly.
You'll never lose that one sub.
Right.
At the end, we'll have one left, and it'll be that guy.
Yep. So,
to me, the most impressive thing of the whole day is there was 12 hours between my 2 drop-ins, I think. And I gave DJ his only 2 bathroom breaks. So
I did go 2 more times.
Oh, okay.
No, I did go 2 more times after that.
But between those 2, it was 12 hours.
And John, I'm telling you, I said it then too. I had to go, but not super bad. Like it wasn't painful.
Because somebody had to remind you to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I kept looking at the schedule, and I'm like, I don't want to miss any of this.
Yeah.
And then it was like, then John showed up, and I'm like, I can miss this. I've seen plenty of that.
Yeah, I've seen enough of him. I can go.
But no, it's like, and that I actually haven't gone back. I did go 2 more times after that, and I haven't seen them all. But it's fun going back and seeing the stuff I missed.
Right.
And I'm like, what did they talk about while I was gone?
Oh man, it was bonkers, and it's the kind of thing that we'll be talking about and referencing in jokes and callbacks until the next one next year. You know, I mean, this is going to run and run. I mean, it was very, very cool, and bearing in mind how it could have gone. Yeah,
yes,
it could have gone really awkwardly. It could have been, well, you can't quite get to the end of the hour, and then you're like, but then the next person's late, and there's this kind of dead air. Unlikely, I know. But when you're tired and you've been doing it for hours and hours, and that could be really awkward, or massive technical issues, or your voice could go, or any one of those things could happen. But it seems to be actually really smooth and really kind of natural and flowing, and not just the trips to the bathroom. It just seemed to be a very kind of natural kind of thing from one person to the next, and again, just people hanging out, literally. Stretched across their sofas, and kind of just enjoying the vibe. I mean, next time round,
subtle, Todd. He's so subtle.
He is.
I tell you, I'm going to wheel in a couch next time. I'm going to have a couch. That's it. I'm not going to, or be in the cinema room and just have it right stretched back.
Go ahead.
I have to tell you guys the most shocking thing to me is that it ended and DJ wanted to get off pretty much right away because I think he was ready to get to bed. And I would say, I don't know, DJ, like 5.5 hours later, I'm getting texts from you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yes,
go to sleep.
That's
for the love of God.
But for those, when you work all night out of a schedule, that's the worst thing to do is go to sleep all day.
Yeah.
Like when I would do that, I'd go home and sleep for about 3 hours and then get up and go to bed my normal time. Otherwise, he's going to sleep all day, be up all night, sleep all day, be up all night. So
but you can
that's
also
kind of the way you do that. But
you kind of break through you go through the wall as well, and so you're then kind of you're actually awake again. Your body clock is like, oh, it's daytime.
Yeah.
Why are we sleeping?
Right.
And I mean, I remember from my night shifts back when I was doing my law degree, and we would work from 8 p.m. till 8 a.m. Sorry, 8 a.m. Yeah, 8 p.m. till 8 a.m. And you'd get to 5 o'clock in the morning and be absolutely beat. But then after about an hour later, you kind of get a second wind. You go through that, and you're okay. And then you go home, and you're like, I don't want to go to sleep. And I mean, that's a bit different now because I do such unusual hours. I don't have a set shift pattern. So, of course, so you're still exhausted the next day. But you managed it like a champ, Deej. You really did.
Thanks.
For sure.
To build off before we get to one of the reasons I have Todd here is, one, reminisce a little bit too. And I do want to get to what Todd and I have already discussed about for next year. But to build off of what you said, Steve, about anything that can go wrong, all of that stuff. And it's like one of the things you said, one of the biggest fears when you set out to do something like this is that you would just get like nothing. Like you couldn't get anybody to participate, you couldn't get listener, and you get 0 viewers or whatever. And like you said, like nobody's just interested. And that to all of us, right? When you're putting yourself out there like that, is that nobody would respond. And it's like, and John and I, when we started, we were like, it doesn't matter if it's just us, we're fine. But then once you start to get people, you get, is the simple thing of putting out a poll and then you get 2 people respond. You're like, that didn't go well. It's embarrassing to you, and you're like, oh, okay. And because everybody sees 2 people responded. So the confidence that our listeners give all of us, Todd knows you write and stuff, and it's like you put something out there, and if you don't get a response, you're like, what am I doing? Because you're blind, right? You have no idea what's going to happen. And that's the overwhelming thing at the end of this. You're like, oh my God, not only the response from the listeners, the response after the fact, but the response beforehand to give us the confidence to even pull something like this off. Like, I can do it, but is anybody going to listen? And then is anybody going to participate? And I mean, right away, Todd and I start talking, and that's why Brett was one of the first people. I'm like, do you think I can get like 12 people? And that's where that joke came from. Like, well, worst case scenario, we can do it ourselves, Brett and I, right? And then when I started asking people a few weeks ago, and I'm like, here's the date, it was like, boom, 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 listeners coming in, people, boom, boom, I'll do it. And you're like, holy crap. And there were a lot of people that couldn't make it, like Kaleidescape had like Amanda, Josh, you had, people were traveling. They couldn't get here. Ralph Potts was in, and then he's traveling, and that, like we said, when Nick was on and Larry, people are literally, I only gave these people, everybody that was on there, it was like 3 weeks notice, Todd? I think or you guys know too, it was like about 3 weeks ago, we nailed this down and started grabbing people. And it's like, look at the response we got. That's not me. That's all of us. That's the community. So, but that to me is what is the big thing. So,
well, don't sell yourself short, DJ. You did all of that prep work all on your own.
You did.
I mean,
you can ask, but it doesn't mean they're going to say yes.
Exactly. But you did put a lot of effort into pulling it off.
Yeah.
So.
I think, in fairness, guys, John, this is DJ's long way of telling us we're on the standby list for next year.
Yeah,
no.
There's too many other people.
No.
I mean, I'm fine just being the drop in when I can.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
It was cool. Yeah, it was good. And I know for a fact there were people dropping in that hadn't been in before, including family members of mine who also dropped in. So it was, it was very, very cool. I think it was amazing. But the person to whom it all, Todd lit the fuse. And then
the pen.
Just walked away after that.
We're there for the sort of the beginning, and then there for the mop up at the end, just to make sure.
I'll let Todd lead off because he's a little bit more like what we were talking about on like right away. It's for next year how we want this to kind of progress. I'll let him I'll let him take this from here because you know me. I'll just
Gosh,
keep
I don't
on
even
going.
know. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, to be honest.
What direction we want to go in with the we got a donation. We're gonna, and all of that. And I okayed. We had one in the past. Todd had an idea, and it's a great one. And I don't want to throw it out there now because I feel bad. But after everything we went through, I had to okay it with Todd because he did. It was a great idea on something we could do, but it just when stuff happens organically like this, it's like how do you not do that? So I think Todd knows what I'm talking about now. But before we get to that, we got Joe Hetzel. Nailed it. Cost him
Super
$10,
sticker.
but I got to say it. I said it right. $9.99. Thanks, buddy. Super sticker. Joe Hetzel, like pretzel. We learned that
just
Saturday.
very quickly with that, I was messing about on YouTube quite a bit over that 24 hours, obviously keeping an eye on the chat, as you well know. But also, I found the various colors for the donations. Right,
Oh, did you?
The maximum is $500. That's
And
the
what color
maximum.
does
Now,
that get you?
It's like a sort of gold color.
Oh,
And it's a different kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So all the different colors are on there. So if anyone wants to prove my point, then feel free, guys.
Steve's so subtle.
Yeah. Like a house brick.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Todd. Sorry.
Well, DJ, I mean, are we talking about the contests?
We don't know
hosting-
that yet. We're going to do contests and we could talk about that. But it's like, so basically it's Ryan, right? So I had Ryan on and he was, I think, the 7 o'clock hour. Ryan Davey from #Dork. And he's been doing it for 15 years, raising money for Movember. It will be in the chat. Not in the chat. It'll be in the show notes for this week. It'll be that is our donation for this month, 50% of what we're doing for the month. I told him that then, but I was like, how could this not be more appropriate for us to gear up every year and do this at the beginning of the month? It won't always be the 4th. But it will be, I'm like, we got to do it on the day we set the clocks back. We got to do, as long as we're doing that. There's always rumors we're going to stop it, but we'll do it. And if they ever get rid of it, we'll do 25 hours. Doesn't matter. And everybody will be like, why are you doing 25 hours? At least we'll have a story. But doing it, raising it for Movember. And I even said, like, I let Ryan know, and I'm like, I'm just do it right through him because he's been doing it for 15 years. As he said on his show, and I told everybody later, he's raised over $30,000 in his 15 years just by himself doing that.
That's really great.
Yeah. And do you remember why he started doing it?
I'm going to let you run with this.
Yeah.
I think it's a much better story since you know him and I don't.
Yeah,
I think you should keep going.
I didn't know it until like he said it on that show. I'd never heard him say it. I don't know if he said it on #Dork and I missed it or whatever, but he lost his uncle to prostate cancer and he died on November 4th. And I'm like, oh, how do you like the symmetry? We were joking about it's the anniversary of the podcast. It's the anniversary of Steve coming on. Later, when I got off the show, Jen's like, that's the day you asked me to marry you, blah, 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 blah. It's all of these things. But then you got that. I'm like, how do we not do that going forward? Right?
Wow.
And it's like, I let them know. And then I said to Rich Keefe, who's part of #Dork, he goes, that's a great idea. I love it. And I go, yeah, now you're screwed because it's an annual thing. But I just think, and then like Todd and I will work together on how we can raise money leading up to it, right? Like auctioning off slots or auctioning things off, getting people. This is what Todd and I kind of dreamed of when our brains started snowballing after we hung up from the podcast that came up with the idea. And that's what, like, so Todd, why don't you talk more about that? Because that's your baby. Like, you had great ideas then, and it was like how we can do this and what it's going to be going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is kind of hoping that we can marry AV Nirvana in a little bit with the event, largely because, I think your community and your viewers are very much the kind of people that we also have attracted to our community online. I know forums have kind of a bad reputation of being cesspools of just people flame throwing and things like that. And AV Nirvana is anything but that. We work really hard to keep folks out of our community that create problems. And so, I was saying to you, it'd be nice to help marry the two a little bit. And I'm hoping that we can pull some gear together through some industry partners that we can auction off. I think you were probably thinking along those lines also.
Well, I don't want to give it away, but I already have an option, and he doesn't even know that we're doing this until he hears this. I have already somebody in the industry offering up and it's nothing we've ever offered before. So it's not any of the people you already know through this podcast or AV Nirvana, but I've already got a substantial donation for next year. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Just because they liked what happened Saturday. And you're like, if you're doing it again next year for a charity, that's the quote, this is what I'm giving. And I was like, oh, I can't win it. Damn it.
Can John and I win it if we quit?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Okay,
I'm like, it's like, there he goes. No.
Still here.
The joke plays better when it's actually visual,
it does.
too.
You're right.
Because you were thinking it.
Well, I thought I disconnected. I was am I gone? Like, what happened to me?
You'd fallen off your couch.
Yeah.
And to get to elaborate, Todd and I, when we're at CEDIA, we're at dinner one night, and everybody around the table is all reminiscing about when they met. And Todd and I happened to be sitting next to each other, and we were kind of he was at the very end, I was the next one over. And I remember looking over at him and going, do you remember when we met? And we were both like, no. And it's like, I don't remember. Like, I remember I remember meeting you, not meeting you, but I remember our first interactions, right? And it wasn't until you said that, Todd, that I was like, I don't know if this is when we met, but I do remember an early conversation. Maybe it was in our first podcast, but it was like how you liked what we were doing. It's like that bright side thing, and how it's the positivity of the community. And and Todd was trying to tell me about AV Nirvana, right? And he's like, that's what we try to do here. What, like a year and a half later or so, maybe, when I went to him about the green room, and it was like, we'll take care of everything. We'll do it, blah, blah, blah. Because basically what you're asking for is what we want anyways. So it's like, it is that perfect marriage. And we keep talking about how do we get us to be more succinct, right? Without just being like, we're the same, but it's like, how do we do more stuff together? And I think a common focus, like a donation, like a charity like this, and this is what we do. And it can define your year, and it can define our entities, like AV Nirvana, Brightside Home Theater. This is what we do. And then it's, we're going to entertain the crap out as much as we can throughout the year. And Todd's going to give us as much information throughout the year. But between that, it's like, here's our common goal, which is what we've always been trying to do anyways.
It's like an Avengers movie. It's a team up once a year.
Yeah, no, right. And it is. It's like, well, yeah, and everybody likes that stuff. But I mean, it's like, so that's where we're going. I really wanted the thing is I wanted to get it out as quick as, just like we were thinking, because this stuff happened organically. So I think it's fun to get it out right away, so people know that it's like, this is what we're doing and what we're thinking, and actually how much the response meant to all of us.
100%. Cool. Yeah. And as we know, these things take a lot of time to pull together. Because, you and I had some grand plans right there off the bat. And, just in the short amount of time, it's a lot of work to start pulling strings with manufacturers and,
right,
working all that stuff out. So the sooner you get started on that, the better.
Right.
Or I say we get started on that.
So, right.
Better.
Exactly. And that's what the other thing Todd and I talked about. It's like, it's kind of perfect. It's like, we did the 25 hours. That's done. we know
Well,
how
you
to
did
do
the
it.
25 hours.
No, but like, so we know, but everybody involved, and I'm hoping more people want to be involved. So we'll have maybe bidding going on. Who knows? I don't know how that's going to go yet, but I know how to organize it. We know what's to come for that. Like when Todd and I came up with the idea, we were like, all right, I think we could do this and this. There were so many balls in the air on things we didn't know and what we had to do. So we took care of the front end of let's get on air for 25 hours, right? So we did that. We feel like that was a big success. But then we're latching on to Movember and Ryan. And it's like, and I'm going to say, yeah, I'm latching on because that helps us on the back end. All we got to do in the middle is raise money. So we have both ends taken care of. And now when Todd goes to manufacturers or we reach out to people, this is what it's going towards. We point to Ryan and Movember and all the great work Ryan's done and what Movember stands for. Boom, this is what we're doing. Whereas before, it's like Todd and I were like, well, we're trying to do this. So how do we tell people what we want to do? And it created a logistic nightmare that would have taken a lot more development. And, Todd's busy. We all this is a hobby for us. Todd's got his own business. He's trying to do his thing. It's really hard to do, but I think we can be super effective because both ends are already taken care of.
But also you should hopefully find it easier now when you approach manufacturers and potential partners because now you've got a proof of concept. You've done
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So rather than say, this is what we'd like to do, we hope to do this, you can say, well, we've done it. Look, if you want to see it, there it is.
Right.
And it was so organic and so well done and put together that I think that they'll be like, well, we want to be part of that because look at the interest that generated. And the more people put into it, the more the word gets out. The more the word gets out, the better it is for everybody, and it works all around. So I mean, I don't know if it's worth approaching Arkham Comics. I hear they're very, very well established. And
I do have money to burn.
I know the person that runs that. That'll be the $9.99 super sticker, John.
But the other thing is that my motivation not part of my motivation, but what I'm thinking is, whatever we raise the rest of this month also goes to that proof of concept thing. Like, look what we did by accident, right? So then when you go to somebody, by the end of the month, here's the dollars we raised just by tripping over this idea and organizing it just within that month. Right. And here's what we did. So hopefully when we get going next year, we say, this is what we've already done. Can you help us out to do even better? Like, I would be like, not just double next year, like whatever, like let's just really go because we have a year to plan for it and we're asking for, like with what, SVS stepped up. We weren't raising anything. We didn't know. And it's like in SVS, and I told you guys, and I'm going to say it on air. It's like I had reached out to Nick and Larry to get them on the show. I told you guys right away. I texted John and Steve right away, and I was like, I don't know what Nick's up to. He's like, I'm not sure what we can do for hours. We'd love to come on and get an hour or two. Cause I was booking people I'm like, can you give me 2 hours with you? One each or something? Cause I didn't know how much time I'd have. And then Nick right away said, can I pop in it from time to time? I got a couple of ideas. And that's exactly what I told John and Steve. I go, I don't know what he's got planned, but we saw what it was. And he was traveling. So it's like these people, what can we do if we've got a little more time? And now, like you said, proof of concept. And thank you to SVS on the Prime Satellite 5.1. I know Johnny Speakers is all excited. That's awesome.
He's in the chat. One. He's very happy.
Yeah. It's going in his game room, I think he told me.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then on top of that, it's like, and let's do our part for SVS. They got their Black Friday sale. Just started. Did that start today, Todd?
Probably.
I think I know it started. I don't know if it started yesterday or today, but it's ongoing right now. For all I know, I don't know if yesterday was today. So
here it is.
But I know
Black
it's going.
Friday sale. Yeah, it came out today.
Today?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it started today.
I got an image. Hang on. I got an image. Let's just get this marked on video wise. There you go. There's no date, so I didn't know, but I just saw that. So let's go with that. But yes, it is ongoing right now. Black Friday sale, record-breaking deals never seen before in SVS history. That's what's on the graphic. So, but yeah, So thank you to SVS for stepping up like that. That was awesome. But yeah, hopefully more. I know, like I said, there's something coming in addition next year to stuff like that that's never before seen on this show.
One thing that might be kind of interesting is always manufacturers like something in exchange when they participate in things like this. You could have hours sponsored by
somebody told me I have 2 kidneys, so I can give one.
But you could have your, first 2 hours sponsored by, I'm just throwing this out there, by SVS. You could have their logo on the screen. The next hour could be sponsored by DefTech.
Right.
That would be a way to.
That would be worth it for me for
more
sponsors.
exposure.
Yes.
Yeah. And maybe in exchange for some product or something that we can auction off, or a system that we could build to auction off. Something along those lines, but
I wonder if we could get Jim Beam whiskey. I'm pretty sure that someone will be quite interested in that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the free advertising, it's fine.
You know what else though? Ideas from listeners. What else can we come up with? Because like we're spitballing stuff here, and like when Todd and I started this fresh on Sunday, we've already shot down like that might not work. So it's like that's how great ideas show up. It's like you go on a 3-hour podcast and you get a little delirious and you come up with an idea. That's what Todd did.
Gosh, I love the credit. I'm not sure it's deserved though.
It's all you.
Yeah,
I always wanted to talk for 24 hours. I just needed somebody to ask.
Permission.
Your wife is like, yeah, do it again next week.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's the best sleep she ever got.
That's right.
She actually, John, she went out with Karen that day. They went to a show in
I
Boston
saw
and
that.
everything.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I was like, that's the other fun thing. I'm sorry to anybody if I'm boring the listeners with me reminiscing about this, but that was kind of fun too. It's like how the world kind of kept going while I was sitting in here. I'm like, Todd knows, like when we got on, I'm like, I'm all mic'd up. I had all my stuff ready so that I could get into the next room. I had my laptop going so I could move around and do my thing. I never left. I left when John showed up. That's it. So I could go pee. I sat and stood in the same spot for the 25 because and I can't stress enough. It's everybody that was there and including the chat. I was just like, as much as I could read the chat, it was everything. The entire, I didn't want to leave. It was so much fun. So,
well, my first anxiety of the entire event was making sure I woke up.
Me too.
Because of the day before, I have a Whoop strap that I use, and that wakes me up in the mornings. It vibrates, and that's my alarm in the mornings. And that died the day before, so I was reliant on my iPhone to wake me up. But I had a moment there where I'm like, what happens if I don't wake up?
Yeah, me too. I did too, buddy. I did too. It's like that. I'm like, I did the same thing. My watch does the same vibration thing, right? So that's how I wake up every day. Every day it works. But I also set the alarm, like in the video. I'm like, I set that alarm on my phone. I did everything because I'm like, and I even had Jen. I'm like, you set your alarm and you've got to get me up. I cannot miss this. Yes, absolutely. The first technical issue is that one.
Showing up.
Yeah.
It's never easy to get good sleep either when you have that.
No.
Whenever I'm traveling and I have that same like anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I can't oversleep. I got to get up,
Yeah.
It's just you wake up at 1 a.m. and then it's 2:30, then it's 4. I had the same thing happen to me, just kind of checking. Eventually I just got up and lo and behold, there you were. You were waiting. I don't know what time that was. It was like, what, 5:30?
Yeah, we got on pretty early, and we got there because I think we both were like, when we did wake up, it was like, I'm not going back to sleep now. That's when the crap goes wrong. I didn't want to get up this early, but what's another 45 minutes?
I did go back to sleep. So that's, you were saying how you felt like the whole world was revolving around you. You're in this little room and everything's just going on around you. I looked at it from the opposite perspective. because I would check in, with you. I think I dropped in maybe 4 times throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
But the amount of stuff that I was getting done in my own little world, and then I pop in and you're still going, and I'm like, man, I'm getting so much stuff done. But
And he's not. He's so unproductive.
It's amazing. It's just so weird how everybody's realities are so tied into exactly where they are and what they're up to.
Yeah.
There's a
I got it. Do you know, like when I was making that, I was like trying to get it, and here's like, this is a really funny peek behind the curtain. I was out of my toothpaste, which is like a regular Colgate, which does do that. And all that was left, like my wife's brand, and it doesn't foam as much. So I had to like work like crazy. I'm like putting extra, I'm like getting it in there. And I was like trying, because I'm like, it's no fun if it just looks like I'm brushing my teeth. You got to, over accentuate it. So.
You might need to save all the donations for dental work.
Oh, yeah. So, but yeah, that was funny. So next sponsor, Colgate. So great. So yeah, bit of shaving foam would have done the trick. Yeah, but it would have got in my mouth, and that's gross. So, from Paul. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Todd. Like I said
thanks for
that
having me
night,
on.
Thanks for coming on to reminisce.
Yeah, lots of fun, and it was nice finally getting to talk to you. The other 2 of the 3-headed beast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, exactly. The bus
Steve
bench.
and I have exchanged PMs on Twitter, I guess. Steve, right? Mainly.
Yeah.
But never had a face-to-face conversation, so that was nice.
Well, quite. And I got to thank you for the candy again, so it's very
cool.
cool.
For sure. That's yeah.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Wait, was that? That was during COVID. I can't even remember.
Years ago.
Yeah, it's a good year, 18 months or so ago. Yeah, it's a while, but I can't say the candy lasted that long, unless it's sort of 12 to 18
that was fun
minutes.
pulling together.
Yeah. It was a long time ago, Steve, because you've been on the show a year, and and then you were on the show as like a guest, like mid-show host for like 6 months, and it was long before that, right?
Yeah,
you were just
it must be 2 years. Yeah. Oh man. And Todd, just so you know, I mean, as weird as this may sound, the little note that you put in there is on a little cork board in the kitchen where we put loads of other bits and pieces, and it is still there to this day. And so when we were having breakfast, I think I was sort of going, look, that's the guy that wrote that note.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's funny.
So that's a lot of fun. It's funny when I'm sometimes in the candy aisles at Five Below or whatever. I always look and I'm like, I bet Steve would like a box of that.
Yeah.
So
always.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have that happen again.
Oh man,
we got to consolidate that stuff, though, right, Todd?
Yeah.
We got to consolidate that stuff, right, Todd? That was
don't consolidate it too much because they charge you by the weight.
No, but the reason I know about that so well is like you hadn't even gotten it yet. I knew it was coming. I know, but you hadn't gotten the candy yet, and I got a text from Todd going, "Oh my God!" Right?
All part of the fun, man.
And I swear to God, Todd, I can't remember what I shipped you guys. Oh, that your packaging there. And the first thing I thought of when they gave me it was a decent sized package, and they get first I ship it to John, and it was like $33. And I was like, okay, that's great. And to Steve, I was like, what? It was like literally wasn't like 10 times as much.
$100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all part of the fun of life.
I saw it because I saw it on the parcel that got delivered with the candy in it. I mean, there's a customs label, and I looked in there, and it is like $60. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'd offer to send you some back, but British candy's crap. So you're not going to want to.
Oh, Cadbury? Isn't Cadbury British?
Yeah, but it's a different. Yeah, well, Cadbury's, but it's owned by Kraft. Kraft is the US, and it's a different recipe over here. Now we like it, but you guys might not.
Our John and I's friend Karen, she's from England, and when she goes over there, she brings back the real stuff for Jen because she likes dark chocolate and stuff. So she brings back the real stuff for her. Yeah.
Oh man. But generally, it's rubbish. I mean, the American stuff is so much more creative, and so many more different things. Otherwise, I'd send some back.
Well, look, that like I told you, that was a no strings attached.
No,
Yeah.
Just
That's
it's always fun to do something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
very cool.
It's the whole community.
Very, very cool. At
great.
that point, all we've done is swap DMs about the gym.
Yeah.
About our gyms. And,
that's right.
Such a cool thing to do.
Yep. Actually, DJ and I were doing that today. We had never done that
I just
before.
thought of that. I was like, now do I got to send you candy, Todd? It's never ending.
Yes.
Yes, I know. And it's funny how you're like, look, I work out. Send me junk food.
Right.
Well, now we're just exchanging recommendations for horror films.
Yes.
So
keep them coming. That last one you gave was
October is over.
Talk to me. Yes. Yeah, boy, Steve, and that had my wife watched it with me, and she is not a fan of horror movies. So she'll watch one with me once a year. And I was like, okay, this is the one. And she had to hide her head. I'd say about four, particularly when he was smashing his own head.
bit.
But just totally brutal. But such a great.
Have you seen Malignant yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, don't say anything, Deej and John. What did you make of it, Todd?
I enjoyed it.
See, he's such a cool guy.
I enjoyed it.
So John
Me
and I
too.
are uncool. That's not the message. That's not the
extra
bright
cool.
side truth we try to
cool.
spread here.
We're not on the bright side of history.
Right side
on
of
that
history,
one.
Right.
yeah.
Come on, guys, get with the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great.
Oh,
So
man,
it's
but,
always fun when you get a good horror flick.
Yeah.
I think they're a lot harder to nail than other genres, but when they get it right, it is just spectacular. And Talk to Me was definitely right there. Just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, well, I will do pass on my apologies to your wife for recommending it in that case.
That's funny, Steve. I'll say, see that guy right there? He's the one that recommended it.
His fault.
That's right.
Oh man, that is a tough watch for someone that doesn't normally watch them.
Yes.
Would be who's that? Which
That's,
dog's that?
Todd's.
This is I don't know if you can see her.
Oh, wow.
No, just a little brown head.
I can just see a
there you
little
go.
fluffy.
I think she's getting hungry.
I saw her in the gym video today.
Yes, yeah, she sticks
The
close
dog's
to me all
working
day.
out as well.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
She
running
comes
around.
and lays down exactly where she shouldn't be laying.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's the best? You're doing push-ups, and they come over and they'll lay right in front of you, and you're like, I can't do this. It's like their face is and they're looking at you like, what are you doing down here?
That's so funny.
Look, I'm the one that's supposed to be on all fours, not you.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're I'll be in the middle of burpees and they'll lay down behind you. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. Get out of the way. You're about to get kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's now we're way off topic.
Yeah.
Let's
All right, gentlemen.
Let's get back to home theater stuff. But Todd, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
I will try
Thank
not
you.
to bother you for at least 48 hours.
Yeah. Next challenge. Can you not communicate? 24 hours.
Can you lose my number?
I love hearing from you.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
All right, gentlemen. All right.
I'll talk to
Really
you
good to see you
soon.
again, Todd.
Later.
Cheers, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Everybody listening and watching, thank you very much, because this is fun rehashing it a little bit. But there's so much. That's why we started a little late. We were all talking about that before we got on. So thank you for that. And guys, thank you guys too. John, Steve. Awesome roles. I'd probably still be talking there right now if it wasn't for Steve at the end. And more than one listener commented on that. I got emails about that. I could see you wanted to keep going. You were trying to get off, and Steve finally was like, all right, We got to get DJ out of here. It was like awesome.
It was only fair because it was only right. I mean, there was only so much you need to do, and I do that with my boss sometimes because he will keep going, and it's like, no, that's it. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hang up. Time to go. But, all right. That's enough for this week on all of that. I will do the my tweak of the week next week with the my tweak of the week here. I can't wait too. It's a pretty good tweak. But we'll get to that next week. So you guys ready to get to some real home theater experiences from this week?
Yeah, for sure.
All righty. Guys, check this out. We can keep talking and everything during it. It's quicker, faster, streamlined. I had an extra 45 minutes to redo that for you. So working hard behind the scenes. So Steve, you ready? Are you ready? You're first up, buddy.
I feel like I'm about to bring the tone down a little bit, though, unfortunately.
You
anyway,
can't.
Let's see how we go.
You can't because we'll laugh, we'll have fun, we'll whatever. Well, let's go.
Okay.
What do we got?
Right. So what we've got is the 4K UHD Dolby Atmos release of Megan, which has been wrongly titled, or at least if it's rightly titled.
Well, what did I do?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
A bit straight. Yeah, it's kind of hurting my neck now. So yes, this is the 4K release of Megan, but I'm pronouncing it wrong because it should be called Megan. Because
you didn't like it, huh?
No, man.
You didn't want to see this anyways, if I remember.
Indeed I didn't, and I'm not going to blame Jordan Carpenter. Oh no, did I say his name? Sorry about that. Who told me, let me know in DMs that this was out in 4K, and the reviews actually on IMDb are quite good. So I thought, well, it's 4K, I'll give it a go. How bad can it be? It's not dreadful as a film, but it's very, very predictable, pedestrian, seen it all before, nothing new, and getting perilously close to boring for me. And so, it's a movie about a technology gets to the point where you can have a sort of semi-sentient doll. And this particular girl who's been through an awful tragedy is given the doll by her aunt who has invented it. And wouldn't you know it, the doll turns out to be a bit evil. And things start to go, well, indeed. And things start to go awry and astray. Seen it all before. And this is exactly what this is. So I was not terribly impressed with the film. I'm not sure I'll see it again, although it's not bad enough to keep it out of the collection. It will at least go into it in case I want to see it at some point in the future again. Unlikely. So that's that. So in terms of the audio and the video, it is very nice. It looks well, very nice. It's a new film. It's been done with shot digitally, so it all looks very nice. It's all very smooth, lots of detail and everything else. All the various kind of locales all look great. There's a sequence in the woods and all the various tree bark and tree leaves and that all look really good. And the sound's decent, nothing to write home about. I wouldn't be demoing this to anybody, mainly because of the movie, but also there's nothing terribly showy in it. It's okay. And talking about Black Friday sales, guys, if this comes up for $10, maybe give it a go. Otherwise, wait for it to hit streaming if it hasn't already, and then see what you think of it. Now, interestingly, it was written by the same person who wrote Malignant. So that's
I'm definitely buying it then.
There you go. This is nowhere near as
How do
creative.
I not already have 2 copies?
Well, that is a legitimate question, Deej. But it's nowhere near as inventive. I mean, whatever else you think of Malignant is crazy. And this just has none of that. This is as pedestrian as it gets for this kind of movie. Whereas, Malignant's bonkers. And I love it because of that. This has got none of that. This is the opposite, all within the same sort of genre of horror. So, I wasn't too impressed with this. But, if people do really like it, then that's fair play. And in fact, Jordan, again, I mean, he would say this because he's the one who recommended it to me. Sorry, John, I cut your thing off there. So he says, that's the other annoying thing, by the way. Is it Megan or is it M3 GAN? I'm not quite sure, but I think it's supposed to be M3 GAN anyway. So he says it's a really fun film, especially the unrated cut, which, that's what I watched. Use of humor made it seem like a predictable plot was intentional. Yeah, I suppose, but I think there was a fine line between intentional and cop out. and I suspect it's the latter, not the former. But I don't know. But for me personally, this is a weak one. If you want to see a movie about, and I'll be careful how I say this, pedophobia, that's the fear of children, which is the subtext to all these kinds of movies, then I would go, and I'm sure you guys would as well, with Brightburn, or The Omen, or Children of Corn, or movies like that, which are all better versions of, again, pedophobia, about fear of children. And that's what these are, as I say, they're always about. It's always about people that are reluctant parents that struggle to deal with the children, and this is what then happens. But Brightburn's fantastic. And you did a show on that, didn't you, Deej?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I only rewatched it again recently, the 4K disc, and that movie's fantastic. So if you want to see a movie about this kind of thing, see that.
Yeah. That's a great home theater experience too.
Oh yeah, it's a Sony disc. Of course.
Yeah. There you go.
All
Oh,
right,
okay. So now it puts us in this level. See, this is weird. This is weird to me.
You haven't actually moved. You're still in your same chair.
You're
just in a different spot on the screen.
I know, but I feel weird. Like it feels funny. Like I'm talking to the over that, like I'm talking to the logo. Like, hello, how are you doing? Yeah, and it's like I'm like there's something. It's just wrong. There you go. I feel that I'm way more.
Well, that's not right either.
No, it's right to me.
Dude. What he said, that'll be. Oh God, Deej. There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Steve's getting car sick.
This is like Celebrity Squares.
Yeah. All right, John, you ready?
I am.
All right. You know what's up next? Did you read the notes this week?
I did.
All right.
Actually,
I don't even remember if you guys replied to that. I don't honestly. I don't. It's been a busy day.
Reply to it.
I didn't. I just assumed you'd know.
I just read it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go then.
All right. So this is Shazam: Fury of the Gods. This was 4K UHD disc, Dolby Atmos. I think. Have we talked about this movie before, Steve? You talked about this, right?
Yeah, we did.
I think we each have done it now.
Oh, have we? So now we've all three done it
separately. Yeah.
One of your $5 for $10 each ones, John, or is this the ones that
this
you
was
bought?
$10. Yeah, I got Enter the Dragon, this one, Evil Dead Rise, like 3 or 4 movies for $10 last week. So
serious value. It's really good. Yeah.
Well, not as good as 6 for a penny each. But
no,
that's a whole
true.
other story from Saturday.
That's another tale for another time. So yeah, I guess we've talked about this before. The movie is the movie, right? Like we know that it wasn't very well received in the theaters. I actually really liked it. I thought it was super fun. It's just the first one again, right? So to me, if you like the first one, this one just follows suit. But as far as the disc goes, this is such a good disc. I mean, the colors, the HDR on this is amazing. It's so vibrant; it pops right off your screen. Yeah. The texture of the suits and all that. I know we talked about that. Yeah. I know we even talked about that with Black Adam. But these things look incredible. The sound is awesome. This is a Warner's disc, and it was very well done. So not to belabor it too much because this is the 3rd time we're talking about it. But yeah, I just picked it up.
Hey, we got new listeners. I know that.
I had seen it in the theaters, but I just picked up the disc last week, so I had to give it a watch. And yeah, I was very, very impressed with it. I thought it was very well done. So,
the whole
and it is still on sale for $10 on Amazon. So anybody that doesn't have this movie, this is a great $10.
It'd be worth that just for the demo disc version from the kind of the city attack toward the 3rd act, basically the whole of the 3rd act looks absolutely incredible. I mean, $10 for a demo disc. You know,
it's
that's an
well
absolute
worth it.
steal.
Like I said, even if you don't love the movie, it's a great disc, and you can't go wrong for $10. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of lightning in this, and the HDR on that is really good. I mean, there's so much contrast in this. I heard some people early on, like when it first came out, they thought it was too dark and some stuff, and the only thing I can
don't
guess,
think so.
I don't either. I think the only thing I can guess is people just don't have their settings correct or something, you know, and it's like, this doesn't look right, and I didn't see anything, and I'm like, but then you hear from multiple people saying, check out all the detail, and you're like, something's got to
I mean, there's some dark scenes in the movie. You know, I mean, the third
Really
act
dark.
takes place at night. You know, it's dark. You've got but
there's so much detail.
Like the unicorns and the caves and different
Skittles.
things like that. Yeah, so there's some dark in the movie, but overall it's super vibrant and really, really bright. So great disc.
All right. Perfect. All right. Let's see who's up next. Oh boy.
As if by magic.
As if by magic. Steve, you are up again.
So this one is exactly what Todd was talking about earlier on. So this is Talk to Me on 4K UHD disc. Only DTS HD-MA over here, which we talked about at the weekend. But in the US, you lucky devils, you get it with 4K UHD and a full bore Atmos track.
Oh, nice.
So we just have to, over here, just have to speculate as to what that's like. And Todd, the reason
Probably
Todd
the
mentioned
sand as when you upmix it, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, quite. And we talked about that too, didn't we? So this is so Todd and I talked about it Saturday morning very briefly at the very beginning, and then I talked myself into rewatching it. I'd seen the screener a few months ago. I had the 4K disc for about a week and thought, you know what, Saturday night I'm going to make time to watch it again. And so this was the first time in 4K, first time in even DTS HD-MA, upmixed in Neural-X, obviously. And the movie is great, as Todd also said, both on Sunday morning and earlier tonight. It is a hell of a film. It's not terribly lengthy. It's an A24 release, which is becoming a mark of quality, I think, if it hasn't already been. And it's a movie about the hand that you can see on the screen there, and a group of teenagers. It comes into their possession. If you hold it in a certain way and say, talk to me, then you can commune with the spirits and see things others can't see. Things go awry. Brutality ensues, as Todd was alluding to, with his wife having to cover her eyes. And it is fantastic. It's a really good movie. Jordan, I mean, absolutely right, says Talk to Me, one of the most surprising films of the year. I think so too, in a good way. It's an Aussie movie. It's really, really good. Now, what is very nice to be able to report is that the 4K image quality is fantastic as well. It's shot digitally, shot with someone, a cinematographer who knows this is going to be in 4K, it's going to be in HDR, and so most of it takes place at night, and all the shadows are exactly as dark and as inky as you'd want them to be. The skin tones are absolutely awesome. The hand, as you can see in that picture, has got lots of writing on it and all kinds of little drawings and things on it, and that looks almost three-dimensional in 4K. It is fantastic. And then the audio upmixed is brilliant, really, really good. Lots of movement in the rear channels, lots of overhead effects as well. Always seems to be a bit of thunder rolling around in this movie. Completely, not apropos of the story at all. It's just roaming around during the movie, and I think it's only there for us that have got our Atmos speakers working, so you can hear the stuff going around. So yeah, it's a really easy disc to recommend, and you guys should see it. I mean, I know Deej, wait till next Halloween, that's fine. John, see it as soon as you can. Yeah. And I don't have any kind of reticence with this. This isn't like Malignant. It's not like, it's not crazy and ridiculous. This is creepy. And as I said, remember the word brutal, because when you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. And it said, Todd was alluding to it there. It's a movie that at the end of it, you'll be like, wow, and I think I might need to see that again. Really, really good. So
I'll probably see it before next year, because I bought it because of your description before, right? Yeah, and I bought it on Kaleidescape, and in your description of it, when you saw the screener, I'm like, this is something right up Jen's alley. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, fascinating to see what she makes of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think I might have awoken the beast because she's like liking to get down and watch some horror movies now. So I'm like, Jesus, I married Steve. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, I like you. I've just got to get to know you better, DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, but this is a movie though that I think with certain familial responsibilities, which will become more apparent when you see the film.
Yeah.
But also with I think with the other half, this is a kind of film you will be discussing. We talked a little bit again about it on Sunday morning about the meaning of certain things in the film and what it means. John Thompson had his own views, Todd had his, and we were kind of discussing that. But it is a movie you'll be discussing after, and I think you will want to rewatch it. Apart from that bit, which I'm not mentioning because it's just like, oh gosh. And the second time I watched it, it's even more difficult, frankly. So yeah, it's a movie to be seen. I don't know whether Lydia would want to see it, John. I mean, did she like?
I generally don't watch these with her. I watch most horror movies alone. Yeah, she's not into them at all.
I think it might be one to see on your own initially, and then see if she like it, because there are discussions to be had about this movie, definitely. And as I said, A24. It's becoming a byword for quality. It means it'll be, if not a brilliant film, at least it'll be an interesting film. And this is one of those for sure. So, yeah, well recommended, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd say I can't wait to see it. I really can't, but you know how much content there is, and it's like every week that goes by, it's like, did he really mean that? It's like, yeah, I can't. But so, all right. Let me see. Okay. Here we go. I'm like, what is coming up next? Because I put these notes together, yesterday or something. I have no idea. So, all right, you ready, John?
I am ready. Yeah.
Very distinct. Here we go.
Yeah. So I finally wrapped up the Monarch Monsterverse this week with Godzilla versus Kong. This was also on 4K disc with Dolby Atmos. This is like all the previous 4 movies rolled into one and then made better. Like individually, the Kong and Godzilla movies, had loads of demo scenes in them. This thing is a demo disc from start to finish, I think. I mean, it just never lets up. It is awesome. Again, I had seen it before, but I don't think I saw it on. I don't even know how I saw it the first time, but I don't think I watched this disc because I don't remember enjoying it as much as I did this time around. So I must have streamed it somewhere. But yeah, this thing is awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, it is awesome, and it's a great movie. I wish there was more. Like, you don't really get a lot of Kong versus Godzilla. You're more than an hour into the movie before any of that stuff really happens.
Yeah.
But so I could have used a little more of that. But once that gets going, I mean, it is awesome. It really just never stops. So again, if you haven't watched this disc, if you don't have it, definitely pick this up. I mean, you don't have to have seen the other 4 movies. It helps, but Chris Brown, and maybe that's where I saw it, Chris. I might have streamed this on Max the first time I watched it because I remember getting the disc only recently, and this is I know the first time I've watched it, and I don't remember it being nearly as good as this disc was. So,
well, this was one of those. This was one of those at-home premieres, wasn't it? During COVID, and I remember seeing this on a Saturday morning.
And that's probably what I did. Yeah,
rented it, and then seeing it, in the cinema room for the first time. And I mean, oh my goodness me, I had such a blast with this. Yeah. Even with the LFE, I don't remember being terrible. I think it wasn't great, but I saw it. I think I saw it on Apple.
It's so right. Well, it's exactly what Chris says in the chat. He says, have you guys checked the LFE on Max for this movie? It's so bad compared to the disc. And that's like, it's perfect the way he put it. Because like, if the first time you experienced this was through, HBO or HBO Max at the time, you were like, that was awesome, right? And a lot like what I said, remember when Maverick came out? I'm like, check it out. You're going to love it. but you're not going to believe the difference because like how much better can this get? Because the stream was that good. I think that it was kind of the same with this Godzilla versus Kong that you're like, oh my God, that's where we get the LFE. And I don't know if it was Chris that asked it a couple weeks ago, but like, do they even stream the low frequency channel? Right? The 0.1. Like they might not, because that's a great way to save bit rate. And it's like, it's just the low end anyways. And there's that's a big chunk of your dynamics right there. How low can you go and how high, what are you doing for like your higher frequencies? So that is a big difference. And it's a great way to put it compared to the disc. It's not horrible on HBO. And if you've never heard the disc, you're going to think it's great. Right. But yeah, it's that disc. It's so good. All of those scenes are just boom.
And now I am all on board. So I can't wait for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, or I think that's what it's called. Can't wait.
I can't wait too. I need to go back and rewatch these. There's so much stuff out. I mean, I want to see them before I see the TV show. But
we got Gurinder with a $5 super sticker. Thanks, buddy.
$5 Canadian? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
that's nice.
$5 Canadian. But he's also
so we get $3.72 out of that.
Jesus, did you say thank you, John?
Just kidding. Jesus.
No, I want you to be you. I know you're kidding. That's great. That's so funny. So funny.
It's like in pounds.
Yeah,
exactly.
We get $2.78 from that one.
Yeah, thank you, John.
If we got any Mexican listeners, it'll be in pesos, and we'll just.
It's even worse there.
Them money.
But see, I was gonna jump on the fact that Gurinder already was mentioned at the beginning for giving us a $20 box of popcorn. Now I hesitated to do it because John's like, "Well, was it?
It's only like $16 now."
I know Gurinder's laughing his butt off right now. So yes,
I hope so, because I'm just joking.
I know. And Chris says, yes, that was me. I was shocked by the difference, saying it's like if they asked about the LFE channel, or he's the one that asked. So, Fan Cool, that's a good one. We need a segment here. Did this movie make John's subwoofer move?
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't move at all anymore because I've solved that issue. But it definitely would have.
How far will it travel down the street?
They definitely would have been in the kitchen. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
How long is the cable that's attached to the AVR? That's the question.
Exactly. Exactly. So, all right. Is that all we got on that, John? Or did you need more?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
all right. I just didn't want to pull that down. If it was, Steve's up next. And if people are wondering, yes, I got a couple of things this week, but I was a little preoccupied. So I think we went over my experience from last week. Yeah. We opened with that. So, but yes, I do have a couple coming up. All right. You ready, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, all righty. Here we go.
Okay, so this will be a quick one. Because this is Mystic River on Blu-ray and in DTS HD 5.1. Now, presumably, guys, you've both seen this because you will go, "Oh, that's like Backyard," and I know that's
seen it many times, but I'd actually kind of forgotten about it until I saw it on your list, and I was like, "Man, I need to revisit that."
Exactly.
Movie. So
it is 20 years old, guys.
Is it really?
Yep, 2003. And the reason that I've seen this week and recently is because there was a 20th anniversary Blu-ray came out, and Jordan again, before I purchased it. Before I purchased this, Jordan.
Poor Steve has been derailed. Still talking.
Still talking about my subs.
Sorry about that.
You're okay. So Jordan in the chat said, "Oh, hang about this 20th anniversary steelbook is the exact same disc as the old 7.99 Blu-ray, just with a steelbook wrapped around it." So I was like, "Well, in that case, I'll get the 7.99 one," which is what I did because I don't care about the steelbooks, as you well know. Right. So I got it. Now I couldn't remember if I'd seen this or not. And I didn't think I had. I was aware of the film, but I couldn't remember if I'd seen it. It's a bit like you, Dee, saying last week about had you seen Hannibal or not. And I don't think I have. And yet, sure enough, put it on. 5 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, I have seen this. Great, all right, fine. But not for a long time. And I didn't remember a lot about it. And so I had quite a good time kind of rediscovering, obviously, with Boston and my connections to it. And I've stayed couple of nights on one of those houses just down the road from where this was shot, and so the film itself is really, really good, really well done, a hard watch for the right reasons. It's not a true story; it's just based on a novel, but it feels real. It feels like it should be based on a true story. And I imagine you guys, obviously having grown up in the area, as it were. It touches on a number of local kind of touchstones, doesn't it? You've got again, I'm sorry, I don't mean this inappropriately, but you've got kind of the suggestion of sexual abuse from clergy. You've got, which of course is a Boston hot topic with Spotlight and everything else. It touches on that. You've got the kind of the South Boston crime issues and that kind of stuff, and the Southeast and all that stuff, and that's all in there as well. And then, so there's a number of Boston touchstones that this movie kind of weaves into its fabric. And so it probably is even more effective for you guys. But knowing what I do about it, knowing the city as I do, it was still really, really good. And a fascinating film. It's never boring, never outstays its welcome, and a pretty devastating ending as well. So I thought it was great, and it hasn't aged a bit. 20 years later, it's still got its power, and it is really, really enjoyable. It's only the Blu-ray. It is showing its age a bit in terms of the image quality. It is very much a Warner's disc of, 10 years ago maybe, or however long ago this came out. It looks exactly like the Warner's Blu-rays did. It's a little bit flat. It's a little bit soft. Of course, a lot of this has come from watching 4K discs since then. So, there's a bit of bias in there as well. So it's a little bit flat, a little bit soft, which is unfortunate. Sound-wise is pretty perfunctory, but again, it's not that kind of movie. You don't have car chases. You don't have big explosions. This is a drama. And so you're not really expecting too much. There are a couple of occasions at crime scenes where there are helicopters going over, and they creep over into the overheads, which is okay, but it's never showy. But it's not meant to be. I mean, this is all about the acting, isn't it? This is all about Sean Penn murdering a Boston accent, but nevertheless putting in a good performance in the meantime. Laura Linney, I think, wins the award for worst Boston accent in this. I think at one point she almost does go for Park the Car in Harvard Yard.
I'm telling you, I don't think they're that bad. And it's like,
really?
There's some, I don't think they're that bad.
Laura Linney's. Because
there are parts of Boston that are like that. And it's like, I go back, like Jen and I, the first time we went to Aruba, we're at the bar at the resort we're staying at, and we ran into a couple there from Dorchester. And you would have thought they were pulled right out of this movie. And like, if you met these people, if they were in a movie, you would have been like, that's an awful Boston accent. But it's not. It's just, it's super thick, and and you're like, it's like, you can tell like I have one, but it's not like what you see in the movie. So when you hear me, you go, that's a Boston accent. No, I have like a very, John, like if you go into like Dorchester or the South End or even the North End, there's a different dialect there, but it's kind of like, but it gets thicker and heavy. And it's like, we were talking to these people and we're like, oh my God. This, and we all laughed about it. We're like, we're from Boston too. But they're like, yeah, but we're from Dorchester. Like, oh my God.
But
and
Laura
they lean
Linney
into it too.
She seems to forget that she's in Boston. She talks normally, as she normally speaks. And then occasionally drops in an here and there, like she suddenly remembered at the end of a sentence.
Right.
I'm from Boston.
It's supposed to be,
She sort of talks in it and it is just and it sticks out. Sean Penn kind of forgets he's in Boston or supposed to be from Boston, and then but Kevin Bacon does a decent go at it. So does Tim Robbins. I think
Tim Robbins, in
a very difficult role. I mean, that role is extremely tricky to play. And so but other than the accent side of it, it's really, really well done. But can I just admit something? We're in a safe space here, aren't we? Right, I'm really
Up until you
sorry.
say what you're going to say, I think.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, I've been
like,
to
uh-oh.
Boston about 5-6 times, and I worked there for 3 months. Right, I did not know it was called the Mystic River. I didn't know that until I saw this, and they said, "Oh, we chucked the body in the Mystic." I did not know that's what it was called, and I've been over it multiple times, and yet I did not
It's
know.
not something that's discussed a lot, though.
Yeah.
No, but someone mentioned we chuck stuff into the Mystic. And I mean, that's
Yeah.
the main
Right, but I don't
waterway.
think-
You got to be in that neighborhood. It's not like even out here.
It's not something that everybody would know. Yeah, it's not
right.
something you
even
should
living
know.
here. It's not a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
thing. Yeah, no.
Because I didn't know either, really, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah,
I
but
mean,
the amount
everybody
of-
knows the water in the Charles is dirty, but that's because of the song. It's like, and they're not even from Boston, so that's how dirty it is.
But the amount of time I spent in Quincy and obviously Braintree and South Boston and Chelsea and all these places, you'd think I'd know. And I've been over that bridge so many times, and yet I did not know it was called the Mystic River. And I felt ashamed of myself as I was watching this, and they said the Mystic that I didn't know that.
No,
I feel absolved. Confession over.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I think you're all right.
yeah,
Because I'm from there, and I didn't know either. to be
right. A
honest
lot
with
of us were like, "Oh, okay." We didn't even know. Like, we live here, and we weren't offended or upset. We didn't know. I'm like, why would any? And that the fact that you thought you should know is actually kind of funny. It's like,
Well, so instead of Hail Marys, how many Harvard yards do I have to say to get that solution?
that you just did one, and that's enough. Yeah, you're done.
you. When you figure out how to do it right, then you can do 6 more.
Oh, okay, guys.
John is on fire today.
Fire.
Fire.
Park the car.
Listen, I can't do it. I
Who
couldn't
put that
do it
up?
when I
Yeah,
was over
Chris.
there.
Park
Can't do
the
it.
car. You know what's funny is like the Boston accent's so bad that even like when you live here, your family gives you grief when you go too thick, right? And it just happens. Be like, I'll be like, Joe, where's the car? And he'd be like, the what? It's like, we live here. And I'm like, all right, yeah, that was too thick. Sorry about that. And we do it it's just, you do it on purpose.
It's an awesome accent. I
You
love
don't
it.
do it on purpose, I mean.
Yeah, you just slide into it.
Yeah, it's one of the most kind of distinctive accents in the US, I would say. I mean, obviously you've got Deep South and the Carolinas and, but and even
The
California.
thick one is super distinct, but it's like what I have here. It's like, I know when John and I first started, people thought I was from New York or whatever. They'd be like, you're in the Northeast. Because we all have like New York has a super thick one too. But when you get further away from it or a little bit away from it, we all sound similar. Like Rhode Island has a thick one. And we make fun of the Rhode Island people.
Philly,
and then Philly has one. And it's like, but we all like, if you're from anywhere else, you think we're all kind of similar. And we know it's super distinct. So, and it's all kind of, so that's fun.
But this is definitely recommended though, guys. Again, if you haven't seen it for a while, I mean, you guys have obviously seen it more than I have.
It makes me want to go see it again now.
Me too, because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Don't get the 20th anniversary version. Get your, $7. It'll probably be cheaper than that on, on Amazon or wherever now. And again, Jordan just says it's a great film. Glad to help you save some money, Steve. Yep. Can't be bad.
Well, after you cost him all that money with Megan, it's still a good deal.
It's made up for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, Megan.
Megan. All right. This next one, John's up again. Here we go. All right, ready?
Yeah. So this was a little holiday viewing. It's the only movie you can watch on November 1st. This was COCO from Pixar.
Well, you'd already
4K
seen
disc.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
I had, but this is, this is the holiday Dia de los Muertos, which is November 1st. So, so 4K disc, Dolby Atmos. I love this movie. I watch it probably once. Oh man, I watch it like once a year at least. And this will be my go-to November 1st movie from now on. This is such a great movie. It's an animated Pixar movie, so visually, 4K disc, it is gorgeous. I mean, it is so nice. The images of the underworld and the like the Day of the Dead celebrations and all that stuff. It looks awesome. The Dolby Atmos is nice. It didn't, like, I don't think it's anything great. I mean, the musical numbers sound really good. But I don't necessarily, like, this wasn't, like, I didn't feel like super engaged by it through the entire movie, like obviously with Shazam or Godzilla. But it but still the musical numbers, they sound awesome. You need to watch this, DJ. I think you and Jen would enjoy it. It's a great movie, super touching, like brings a little tear to your eye for sure.
Well, if it did that to you, what the hell's it going to do to me?
Yeah, and I've seen it, multiple times, so I know what's coming.
The last 5 minutes, Deej, will destroy you.
Yeah, but there's
me? Oh yeah,
there's some scenes there that really tug at the heartstrings. And
I
like
got
I said, I've
tears
seen
during
it.
Godzilla versus Kong.
I know. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about this movie. The quality is fantastic. Like I said, visually, it's gorgeous, and like I said, the sound is fine. Like it's there. It's but it's not. It's not a reference disc for sound. I don't think so.
But I think for picture, it's not far off. I mean,
no, it's awesome. Yeah,
the petals over the bridge. Each individual one, they glow and it looks absolutely stunning. There are some lovely shots of the city, the underworld city, and each individual little light is distinctive. A fun little side game when you're watching this next time.
I'm saying, is it like me? I'd rather be there.
Yes, fascinating place.
I would have rather been there than alive. So
now that's taken the tone down a bit.
Yeah. Seemed a lot more fun.
Fun little side game next time you're watching it is to see how many skulls and skull shapes you can see, because even the windows are skull shaped. Even there are signs that are skull shaped. There are buildings are shaped. Yeah, one of the animators, I read an interview where he said there are tens of thousands of skull shapes in this, and there's things you wouldn't even kind of realize. Even the clouds are skull shaped.
I'll have to look
and stuff like that. But yeah, Deej, if you're going to see this, and you should, because it's a very well made film, have your tissue standing by for the end, okay? Because you will be in floods. I was not far off. The 3 times I've seen this, there were definite tears at the end, and there are moments in this, Deej, you will be a blubbing mess. Jen will be carrying you from your theater, dabbing your eyes.
Oh my God, it's funny.
It's not quite got the emotional punch of, say, Up, but it's not a million miles away.
Right.
So, if
Up gets it out of the way right at the beginning, though.
Well, quite well. This is at the end.
This is towards the end. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple moments throughout the movie too, but the last couple of minutes is where it really gets you.
Yeah. So, anyway,
all right.
Very good.
Now I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
The worst on stuff like that too is Jen. She's got some medical conditions. She has to take these medications, and one of them it like suppresses those emotions. So she's like a rock.
So she'd just be watching it.
Yeah,
like
she'll be carrying you out of the room.
She's like John, and it's like it was so like I'll be over there. I'm like, what the hell? She goes, I'd be like you if it wasn't for this. I'm like, she's like, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, but the way they did that, did you see it? They were in a fire.
Yeah, I also pre-gamed for this with some special candy.
Oh boy,
that also aided the enjoyment of it. But
yeah,
I'm sort of envisaging Jen at the end, sort of T2ing it. Now I know why you cry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, she reaches out and like, oh, that's neat. Look at that stuff. Shut up.
Oh
man, this will test it.
Yeah. Yeah, might. Yeah, that's a good point. Although I won't get into all that. It's like the kids went to school and everything. But
I also love all the Spanish in it as well. It's lots of Spanish in COCO, which I particularly appreciate.
Yeah, so it's very cultural as well. This is one. Lydia doesn't like a lot of animated movies, but of course she really enjoys this one. Being Mexican herself, it hits a lot of the cultural things.
Yeah,
that
so
she
the
grew up
touchstones
with.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's awesome. All righty, go on in, Deej. Go on.
I
Do your
get a
thing.
turn.
You get to
Yeah,
go.
come on.
Exactly. And this is actually
It's almost like you put the schedule together.
I know, exactly. Oh no, I wasn't saying because of you guys. I'm saying like, look at me. I actually got one to contribute, but let's bring it up, and it's actually kind of funny why I get to contribute this one. So, Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5 in Dolby Atmos and all of that. So, my son's birthday was literally yesterday. And this is what we gave him for his birthday. And of course, I got him the package because we literally didn't have a PlayStation 5 in the house yet. And he was fine with the 4 and everything. And after Steve's description of this, and then when it went to Atmos, I started talking to Steve about it behind the scenes because I didn't want Joe to get wise of it for his birthday. So that's what we gave him. And so his birthday was yesterday, but Sunday night we gave him this when we came home from dinner. And he's like, well, looks like I'm calling in sick tomorrow. And he didn't, but he went downstairs and he loaded this up and took a little bit. And I went in and I didn't play it. I don't want to. Because like I said to Steve earlier, if I start playing, John knows, I mean, that's it. It's like no house, no podcast, no nothing. It'd be like DJ's just busy video gaming. Edward, thank you very much. Edward Culbreth, $9.99 Movember.
Contributor for Movember, yeah.
Yeah,
Movember.
thanks, Edward. Cheers, buddy.
Yep,
Thanks, Edward.
super chat. Thank you very much. And I actually highlighted his comment earlier while we have him here. Let's pull this down. Is he a new listener? Because I saw his comment earlier. Recently introduced my mom to the Lord of the Rings. 2 down, 1 more to go. So,
I hope you mean the films and not your mom.
like, now for the in-law. That's awesome. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. All right,
Everyone just insulted him. You withdraw the super chat.
Yeah, exactly. I withdraw.
How do I get this money back?
Yeah. It's like, what color is a refund? Steve's looking it up right now. So back to Spider-Man 2. It was a lot of fun watching them. The gameplay seems a lot like what John and I played before. Load times are so much faster, which I talked to you, Steve, earlier about it. It's like it was interesting because as a viewer, now it's like it's more interactive for me. More like I'm not sitting there waiting for the thing to load for him. Like if he gets, if his character dies and he has to wait, everything was so much faster. It's a lot of fun. The one thing I haven't done with the PS5 yet, it's only been in the house for a day and a half now, 2 days maybe. But I definitely do want to try that Bravia Core thing and see what we can get with that too. And
I have tried it now. Yeah,
is it pretty good?
Actually,
you want to talk about it next week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But just to let you know, Deej, it depends on your PlayStation like subscription service. If you get the premium one, it comes with a load of free movies on there. But they are all movies that we've already got in 4K. In fairness, but it's
Steve,
they are. Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
Yes, I think so.
Can I get Bloodshot?
I didn't look. I haven't looked.
I'm sure it's there.
I don't know. It might not. I don't think that's a Sony
Isn't
film.
that a Sony? I think that might be a Sony movie. Yeah, that's a Sony movie. Yeah.
I can finally get another copy of Bloodshot.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait for next week's show.
I had so we'll talk about it next week. But I had a little look at Elysium and Bad Boys, but what they are, interestingly, is they are IMAX enhanced. And they're DTS HD. So, sorry.
They're not DTS-X, no?
Sorry, DTS-X. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yes.
So DTS-X. Okay. But yeah, so we'll talk about it next week. But I did have a good sort of mess around with it. We'll talk about it then.
Yeah. It's funny because I got him this and I saw somebody on Twitter or something talking about Bravia, or maybe it was in the chat on Saturday, and Bravia Core. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to have access to that. because oh yeah, now I can save that for next week. I remember what the comment was actually. And I was like, it doesn't, actually, I'll tell you right now, the comparison was you don't need Kaleidescape, you can do Bravia Core. That's not even close. There's only a limited amount of Sony movies in there. And you don't, one, you don't own it. And two, it's so hard to, I saw that in the chat and I didn't bring it up, but I was like, it was so hard to get Bravia Core because remember it used to be attached just to the Bravia televisions. Right. And I used to look I was going to buy a Bravia television if I could get it out of the Bravia television and play it through my room. And I just would have mounted the TV out here. And if I could, there's no way to do that. TVs don't export content. Right. So I was like, it's so limited. But that, to me, is a great example of why Kaleidescape does what they do. Sony's doing that because they don't have the bandwidth to service the world. Because everybody's like, Daddy077 on Twitter, we're always saying we need something like that publicly for everybody. Or like if I had, and it is pretty amazing they're doing it through the PS5 now. So I'll be interested to see how good it is.
It's my view was, again, we'll talk about it more next week, but it's a fun little thing to play around with, but it's, I'd happily stick with the discs. Thank you very much. It certainly wasn't enough to make me think, if I was going to watch Elysium, I'd be picking the 4K disc. I wouldn't be playing it through my PS5.
Right.
And that's
it'll be fun. It'll be, and that's what I love to do. Like I said, I've always done stuff like that. And before we had podcasts, I'd be like, I remember I told this story, I think Saturday, John, about you and I trying to do the the whole with Jack Ryan when it first came out on Prime, and like trying to get Atmos and like. I mean, he did the same thing I did. We were buying all the streaming sticks, all the most. Oh, they came out with a premium one, Roku. Try that one. Nope. Yeah. And it's like it was just a nightmare. But we're just trying to get the best and then compare it to something else or whatever. And I'll do the same thing with Bravia Core. And I mean, if it has Bloodshot, I'll watch the whole thing. I mean, I'll buy it. I'll just that would be fun. And it's like, another opportunity to buy it.
At least you
say another format that you can buy it on.
Yes. And at least it's an object-based audio now, whereas previously, presumably, it wouldn't have been until the Atmos update. So, so you now should be able to see it properly. But yeah,
Bloodshot.
All of the movies on there on the PS5. Yeah, because previously, prior to the update, presumably it would have only been 5.1.
Oh yeah. You mean on the PS5? Yeah. Right. So as a matter of fact, that was one of the things. Like Joe set it all up himself. He ran everything. He got the whole. I mean, he's a grown man now, so he can do this stuff. He got it all connected to the theater rack. What?
I think he was taking a dig at Steve there.
No, not at all.
He can hang his own pictures on the wall and everything.
No, you know what went through my mind? No,
my PS5.
that's no. Exactly, he did. But no, what I was thinking is if any new listeners are like, my son did it. My son connected his PS5 all by himself. It's like, I don't want some new listener to be like, why can't my son? And the poor kid's 10. I'm like, he's 26 years old. It was his 26th birthday, and I gave him a video game system. But yeah, he connected it all up, and then he starts playing, and like the opening scene, and they have everything, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, now when he plays, he likes to sit in the front row. So that's where he plays his games all the time. So I'm back in my prime seat, and I'm like, sounds good, but can you check the settings? I don't think you're in Atmos. And he backed out right away, like right mid-game. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, here, you got to do that. I haven't picked up a PS anything in a while. And I'm like, you want to get to here, boom? And I'm like, PC, go down here, boom, bang, Atmos. And ooh, that's a little better. There we go. A little bit, a little bit more activity, separation in your like some of the scenes that would like pan by or people yell from the back, a little more discreet than. I mean, with video game systems, there's so many variables because some people are just playing on, little televisions or whatever. But yeah, it is really nice. The Atmos was a really nice effect to it. And both of us were saying, I can't wait to hear like first person shooters and stuff. So when he gets one of those, I'll probably have a report on that too.
Yeah, man, we're good at Brightside video games. But what is cool is that it has
that is Davey.
it does from the messing around that I've done with it, it does upscale all of the games to Atmos as well. So I had a quick go on Fortnite, and that now has stuff all, right overhead as well and all around. But yeah, what I like about the Spider-Man is, as I said a couple of weeks back, it's the little thwip noise. You can hear the web as he spins it, as he's traversing New York. The little thwip noise goes up and above you. So you could hear the web hitting whatever it is it's attaching to, which is such a cool little effect. And it sounds way better in Atmos. So, it's really well done. It's a proper movie come to life, this game.
Yeah.
I've completed it. And it's really cool. Yeah, really, really cool.
It's like he had never played the first one. I did. I got John and I had played that one. I got like halfway through, maybe 60% of it done. But he never played it. So he was whipping his way through the city, right? And he's like, this is fun. And it's like he landed like on the Brooklyn Bridge and he's got to run because there's nothing to flip to. And I'm like, you can go now. And he jumps up, and then it's so funny. Like, remember when you first learned, John, and like you're just jumping around and you don't know how to shoot the webs at the same time and jump and everything. So he was learning that, which it was good. But Davey over on #Dork would say, like, he loves these. They have their whole segment, Davey's Video Game Minute. And he's like, anybody that does like the jump, I guess you can, I didn't even know it was a thing, but in video games, you can just portal to the next section or whatever.
Fast travel. Yeah.
Fast travel. Thank you. That's what he called it. It's fast. He goes, anybody that fast travels in Spider-Man is like, you shouldn't even be playing the game. Right. Like that. The whole point of this game is the being able to. And I remember when it first came out, it was like his talk that made me like, I can be Spider-Man. And you do. It's like the graphics are so good. And even when you're going down the street and you're picking up speed as you get closer to the ground, and then you kind of swing back up and you're just hanging there and you're in your seat going, I can feel there's like no gravity on me. Okay, now there is. Now there isn't. Now there is. And it's so well done. So immersive.
Right.
Yeah. So, and the Atmos is great too. Helps with that a lot. So, all right. I've talked enough. That was my one.
Yeah.
So it was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Next one is, oh boy.
I'm excited for this, Steve, because I just put this on to watch it before the show and realized I didn't have enough time to I thought it was going to be 30 minutes instead of an hour. So I turned it off. So
ouch.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
I would have. Yeah, it would have been late, but I'm going to watch it after we're done. So
this is one to watch. Definitely.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay. So apologies for the crap picture, by the way. The Netflix. Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix in Dolby Digital and Atmos. Sorry, Dolby Atmos and 4K UHD HDR. The Netflix screen is dreadful and just does not do it justice. So I went online to find a picture, and that's what I found. It was in landscape. Blue Eye Samurai, which came out, and I love the way that rhymes, and came out Friday. Yeah, maybe Friday. Yeah. So I am now. It's 8-episode miniseries. I think there's only the one season, and I am now up to. I just finished episode 5. The first episode's an hour. The rest are about 48 minutes, so it gets a little bit shorter. This series is awesome, really, really good. Now, it is about a samurai who is actually they don't quite accept they're a samurai, but someone who has been maligned and besmirched because they don't match the other people. Has had a rough upbringing. Things have gone awry, and they, and I'm choosing that pronoun deliberately, set out on a rip-roaring rampage of revenge. And it is really, really good. Now, no samurai cliche has been left unturned. Okay, so you do get, the blind swordsman. You get the slightly uncertain sexuality of the main character, appropriately, not inappropriately, and deliberately. You've got the kind of the shogun. You've got the revenge. You've got the jewels in the fields. It is samurai by numbers, but it's very, very good indeed, and it's a really good story. And there is the particularly standout episode of them all that are good is episode 5, which has romance and brutality. It has sweep, and it has moments of real emotion. It's really very well done indeed. So yeah, John, you're going to love.
Yeah, I've heard great things about
it.
Yeah.
You're going to really get a kick out of this. And Deej, I think you will as well. And possibly because you Deej, I think will like the visual aesthetic even more. Excuse me. Because it's beautiful to look at. The animation on it is fantastic. It's computer animation, but you've got the sort of the mixture of the 2D and the 3D. Moving on.
You're done, Steve. It's my turn.
I'm trying something. I tried to upload
okay. So it looks absolutely beautiful. And there are snowscapes, and you've got forestscapes, and you've got caverns, and all this kind of stuff. And then the Atmos is fantastic as well. There are a number of sequences towards the beginning of the thing where there are horses, and they thunder over from the back of the room right over the top to the front, and it feels like these things are in the room. And for an animated movie, it's particularly good. You can, you really feel the weight of these horses, and that kind of stuff. But you also then get little subtle things of wind moving, kind of in the trees and then in the snow and all this sort of stuff. The dialogue is always perfectly audible. There are no issues with that at all. It is awesome. Really, really pleased with this. And for animation on streaming, sometimes there's banding and there's bits of noise, but there's none of that in this. It's awesome. And look out if you, John, and anyone watching it, for the musical cue from Kill Bill in the first episode, which is awesome. And when that kicked in episode 1, I've just got a giant grin on my face. Just go, this is going to be my kind of show, and it's great. So yeah, definitely recommend it.
Awesome.
Well worth putting to the top of your Netflix viewing list. Yeah, you're going to love it, John. I know you will. Yeah. So well worth seeing, guys.
Yeah. No, I'm excited now. I like it. And then you drop that Kill Bill reference.
When you hear it, you're going to be like, yeah, okay.
Nice.
There you go, Steve.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
Cleaner.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, it's such a crap picture, really, compared to
it's just. If you ever have problems like that, just let me know, and I can grab it, and it'll whatever I find crisper or something like that. But
that's cool. It just
that's a great image too. Yeah,
it's nice, and so you guys are gonna get such a kick out of this.
I mean, even John, I don't know, does it translate for you over there? I know on my my MacBook here, I'm like, look at the paper in the back. It looks like it's supposed to be like paper or something. The background to this image here on the screen looks really, really nice.
Like parchment.
Which
and there's calligraphy in it. Again, no samurai stone and cliche has been left unturned. All there.
That's awesome.
You could almost tick it off as you go, but it's all the better for it. It's really well done. It's come out of nowhere too. I didn't know anything about it until tail end of last week when I saw a trailer to it, and it's like now on Netflix. I'm like, oh my god, right, okay.
I didn't either. I saw it on Twitter. Mark Bernardin was watching it, talked about it.
Okay.
And then I was good. Like I said, I was just gonna start watching the first episode before we started, but I didn't have time. So
from the writer of
Blade Runner 2049. Yeah,
Logan and Blade. Wow, look at that.
It's and so talking about PS5, so good is this that I've just re-downloaded Ghost of Tsushima to play that again, and that's a samurai game which is beautiful to play and really good. So I'm going to go back through that now because I've enjoyed this so much.
Nice,
cool.
All right, let's start off with let's see, Van Gool in the chat earlier just watched Enter the Dragon and loved the 4K. So thanks, Van Gool, from your lips to John's ears.
Well, I think he saw the teaser that you that you popped up there.
But this is from earlier, John. That comment was way earlier.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I just I picked up Enter the Dragon this week as well. $10 sale from Amazon. And I watched the special edition, which I believe is the first time I've ever seen the special edition. I've seen the theatrical cut a few times, not as many as some on the show, but I've seen it a few times. But yeah, I think this was the first time watching the special edition. As I said, 4K disc, Dolby Atmos. I thought the 4K on this, I thought this disc looked fantastic. It was very, very well done. I didn't own the Blu-ray of this, so I don't know how good the quality upgrade was, but much better than the last time or any time I've ever seen this movie, because I've probably only ever watched it on like broadcast TV.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the theaters in 1973. I was 3. So
No excuse.
no excuse.
Come on.
So I think I've probably never seen this on bigger than a 27-inch TV on channel 56 or something from Boston. But yeah, this looked great. As far as the Atmos goes, I mean, I didn't see a lot here. Steve, I think maybe
What
you
about
disagree,
the apple?
but
Do you remember the apple?
Yeah.
The apple, I do remember
right
that
on.
with the darts, but I thought it was fairly front focused for most of the movie. I mean, there was a couple of scenes because anytime you put an object-based mix in, you're going to hear something. But I don't know. I was much more enthralled with the visuals than the audio here. But yeah, I thought this was fantastic. I'm gonna spend a lot of time on it because I know you guys have both talked about it pretty recently. But yeah, obviously worth the $10. Well worth the $25 it would have been too. But yeah, and this of course is a classic. It's such a good movie.
The 4K restoration on this is like, I mean, it takes that you see it in the pictures here, that it takes those blood marks, those on him. It's the same effect as the Sharpie on the shark in Jaws. Right. You're like,
yeah, they look a little
that didn't age well.
Yeah. Is that grape jelly or raspberry jelly or whatever that is? But
and
it looks like lipstick.
Yeah.
And there's like,
you're right.
Yeah. And there's like literally no depth, to a cut.
Right.
It's like normally, like if something's cut, and nowadays that's what's kind of fun now is they actually put that in there, and you could even draw that and make it look deeper, like 3D, right?
Right.
And it's like there was nothing back then. Like nobody's ever gonna see this.
Yeah, it's just painted on.
Yep.
It's Bruce Lee. You couldn't cut Bruce Lee.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on. He was supernatural.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But
He was cut. So he couldn't get cut.
Cut me, Nick. So
I think that's what happens with a lot of these older things that get
and
the
that's
4K
fun, though.
treatment,
Right? And that's fun. It's like, because we used to read about it back in the day, like, this is how we did it, but you can't tell the difference. And now we're like, I can tell the difference.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But still, gorgeous movie.
This looks like you would hope it would look. And for $10, it is ridiculously good.
Oh, yeah. Such a good value.
What a
I almost
deal.
bought 2.
Yeah. 7. One better than these.
Wow. Wow. From John, that's like me buying 10.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
He's like, I almost bought 2 on sale.
On sale.
But on sale. Right. I'm buying multiples and going, can you charge me more?
Yeah. Can I pay $35 for this?
I just want to get credit. I want to support this, so charge me more.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, Steve. I can't even believe you're going here.
Oh, I'm being careful.
It's like you're brave. You're brave. Oh man,
brave or grave?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how you do.
Okay, this is should we just call this Meg 2 and then I won't worry about the rest?
Come on, there's a full title here, Steve.
You brought it up.
So this is Meg 2, The Trench, on 4K UHD. Anyone wondering what we're talking about, just go back to when Deej reviewed
Don't.
Don't kick the hornet's nest, Steve.
Yeah,
man. I'll get phone calls. Oh man.
Let me know if you get any texts in the next 5 minutes, Deej, and I'll get under the desk if there's going to be anyone else joining us. So this is Meg 2, The Trench, on 4K UHD disc in Dolby Atmos. Now, I saw it at the cinema. We talked about this before. Yeah, tap, tap, tap. And did see it in Kaleidescape and reviewed the home theater experience. And I've been meaning to see this for about 3 weeks. It's been out here for a little while. And curiously, we got it a couple of weeks before the US, which is interesting, at least on physical media. So the movie's fun. It's dopey, schlocky, silly, but very knowing and a lot of fun. and even more fun the second time round. Actually, I enjoyed it. I think even more. So it's a great fun film. See the first. If you like the first, you'll like this. You want to be able
to keep up with the story too.
Yeah, the very detailed, complicated story. Although no one has quite answered to me. They're all supposed to be these kind of, these marine conservationists, but they think nothing of killing everything in the ocean that they come across. but anyway, that's something I haven't quite figured out. Their first thought is
that is the heroes. John Ciccone minute from Steve.
Well, but it is just like the whole thing is they're there to
look at that new thing. Let's kill it.
Yeah, let's kill it.
Boom.
That's the thing I think of.
Yeah. I know. Anyway, it's like we're going fishing with dynamite.
Well, okay, I think Greenpeace might have some issues with that, but yes, so it's fun, it's dopey, it's really enjoyable, and the 4K image quality is lovely, very nice indeed. It looks great. It's a Warner's movie. They can do digitally shot movies like no other, so it looks fantastic. Even though kind of the murky stuff, in the aforementioned it looks great. There's no banding, there's no kind of crush. It all looks absolutely fantastic. Oh God! Right for a minute, I wonder what you were putting up there, Deej, for a minute. Right, that's right.
He's so nervous.
We did this before. Yeah.
That's so great.
Moments of panic pass quickly. We're not going to go doing Meg jokes again, are we? Because we do this before.
We did not. You did.
So it's great, and it looks really, really nice. And even the stuff, at night in the dark looks great. But the stuff on the island at the end, Fun Island, looks absolutely, gorgeous. All the kind of the lush jungles and all that stuff is great. I'd seen reviews that say the 4K shows up some of the CGI. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think it's as good as you could expect it to be, and the audio is great as well. Lots of fun little atmospheric kind of bits and pieces. There's quite a nice moment where the camera glides through some bubbles underwater, and the bubbles come up and then go up and into the overheads, literally as if it was passing by your head, which is a cool little effect. Really, really good. It's a modern movie. Looks and sounds great. Well worth picking up. And if it does get to $10, John, then get it.
Yeah, I haven't seen either one of these yet, so eventually I'll get around to them.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will. I like these stupid fun movies. So.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Statham being silly. Deej, put down the text. Stop texting, Deej.
Sorry.
Yeah. And plus, it looks like he's eating Benji, so can't go wrong there.
Oh, yeah, that is Pippet. Pippet the dog, named Pippet.
Not Benji,
Pippet.
okay.
Yeah, named after the dog in Jaws. Same name, same type of dog, I think, as well. So, one of the many Jaws homages in these films.
Wow.
But yeah, it's very, very cool. Yeah, Pippin or Pippet.
But the underwater, just the entire thing, it's like there's a 3D effect to it, with the 4K and everything. And just, I don't know. I guess I could if I actually just sat there and thought about it and why it affects you so much. But probably because we don't see underwater anyways. So when they accent it right with lighting, it seems more realistic and 3D to us in the water. Whereas if they try to do the same thing in real life, you'd be like, that's not how that looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so much fun to go through. Yeah, a lot of fun. All right. You done with that one? He's dying to get out of it. Dying to get out of it.
Just move on before I get in trouble.
That's why I was like, I'm surprised you even brought it up. But all right. Last one. This is it. And wow. I know Steve's dying to get to this one. So but you ready?
Oh yeah.
Are we ready? Yeah. All right. John, did you see this?
I haven't seen it. I didn't watch it this week, so. But it's
you've
all right.
seen
you can
it.
talk. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it either?
No.
Oh,
so
I thought you saw it.
Don't spoil it too much, but.
Oh, there's a lot there.
She's dead at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Sorry, John.
She's a doll?
Dang.
Whose father is she?
Yeah, because I do want to see it. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right, Dee, do you want to go first? Want me to go first? What do you want to do?
You can go. You were the one that brought it up. I've had it on hold for a while because of October.
Did you not want to show off your shirt?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I am. Yeah, let me go.
I am Ken enough.
There you
I
go.
am enough. Yes.
Enough.
Yeah,
Enough.
Which features in the
Knuff.
movie.
It featured. It is in the movie. Go ahead.
So Barbie, then, this is the first of the two summer movies for me to see. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. Still waiting to see that. So this was the first part. So this is Barbie, and I saw it now a couple of weeks back, having bought it on 4K disc with a sense of genuine trepidation. I bought this thinking I might never see this again, and I might not keep it in the collection, and I might not even be able to finish it. Yeah, I had real reservations about it. Well, because I've had a screener of this for months, and I tried twice to watch it, albeit on the iPad, Deej, all right, but nevertheless. And I watched the first 10 minutes twice, and both times at the end of that 10 minutes, it was so twee and silly, and I was just thinking, I'm going to have to be in the right frame of mind to see this, and if I'm not,
if you're trying to rush it, you can't. Yeah, you can't. You got to have the right frame and be able to sit down, and the entire thing needs to be taken in, because if you judge any one part of it, it doesn't make sense.
Well, quite. So I had real reservations about it, and I sat down in the cinema room, put it on, and thought, right, let's just see. And I watched this with someone else, and I thought, well, I'm just going to give it a go, and let's just see what happens. Not, trying to keep an open mind. This movie is incredible, and one of my movies of the year. And if you had told me after, with that sense of trepidation, that I would say that afterwards, I'd have said, you're having some of that special candy that John likes so much.
Yeah.
So and what I think is genius about this film is that first 10, 15 minutes is deliberately doing what people like me thought the whole movie was going to be, but it very quickly and very cleverly metamorphosizes, changes into something completely different. And this becomes, it goes from a movie, a silly, dopey kind of comedy movie, and becomes something profound by the end. And it moves that way all the way through. I was blown away by this. And again, I have to say, guys, that there is a line at the end, which I am not about to spoil, which, look, I didn't say it, Meg. I didn't say it.
There's my girl.
I heard the trench was being mentioned. I thought I would have to hop on and defend my name.
He did excellent, Pumpkin. He did excellent. He was very well behaved, but I thought you should have your space. But if you have a minute, you should stick around. We're doing Barbie right now.
Ooh, very exciting.
Stick around.
I have a quick little minute. I'm just leaving work, but I can put a quick 2 cents in on my.
Okay, he found this movie. He just saw it, and he found it to be very profound.
Oh.
So let's let him fit. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is a line at the end, which I'm not going to spoil, John, or for anyone that hasn't seen it, which I thought was absolutely beautiful, and profound, as I say. And I thought this was extremely moving. It's an incredibly intelligent film. And has all sorts of challenges of stereotypes and particular views of people and gender and race, and turns it all on its head in a very, very clever way. So I thought it was extremely good and very, very clever indeed. So I loved it. And again, if you told me beforehand that I would have said, really? But it was fantastic. So, Meg, what did you think of it?
Well, I saw Oppenheimer. She did the opening day Oppenheimer Barbie combo.
Yeah, I did Barbenheimer.
Double bill.
With her friend. Yeah, she did Barbieheimer, with her friends.
Yeah.
Barbenheimer, sorry. And when she came home from that, she's like, Dad, I got to take you to see this. We got to go see this. We went and saw it. Of course, she was right. I loved it, just like you did, Steve, because you don't. But I didn't have the trepidation you have, but you have that preconceived notion of what it is, right?
Well, based on trying to watch the first 10 minutes twice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and that's what. Yeah, you missed that, Meg. He said he started it twice in the first 10 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, you're going to be aggravated because it doesn't make sense. But as it goes, you're going to be, and then Meg and I, and my wife, we were in the parking lot because we had separate vehicles, and we chatted for like a while, like I tend to do. But there's so much to this. But go ahead, Meg. It's awesome.
Yeah. I remember going in that I had seen that Greta had put out that if you hate Barbie, this movie's for you. And I was like, I didn't really know what it was going in. I thought it was just going to be kind of like a fun movie. But no, I agree. I feel like it broke down so many stereotypes, so many different parts of life that just exist in the world now that we all have to kind of live with. And I thought it put it in a really, great light. And I thought it was a fun way to watch it. But I also felt like it had, like you said, such like a profound meaning and a profound like message at the end.
Yeah. I think it's quite subversive in that way. I think it kind of goes into it. It gives you one thing and says to you, this is the kind of movie this is going to be. And I think the trailers pointed you in that direction. And then as you start watching it, you realize, oh, okay, now you know why Greta Gerwig's directing this, and it's not being directed by, Michael Bay or someone. It's been directed by a proper director and written properly, and actually teaching you something about yourself and the world around us that no other movie would dare. And a film called Barbie about a plastic doll, it just goes, oh no, this is not what it's about, and this is something else entirely.
Pumpkin.
He's broadsided by that.
He's dancing all around everything we talked about in the parking lot, because it was so everything you just said, Steve, is like one of the many things we hit on. But this is all about, like you said, like it breaks down stereotypes and stuff, but it also tells you, like, in a way, like stereotypes aren't bad, but we are all more than our stereotypes. And everything you just said was the stereotype of Barbie. And that's why you had the trepidation. And then you find out at the end, you're like, holy crap, this movie is more than I thought it would be. That's the point of the movie. Yeah. That's the point of like everything about it, everything they point out. And it's how we look at other people, but it's also how we look at ourselves. There's so many, and then, there's so much to this movie. It's like we could have conversations for hours. Did you just fall down?
No, I stood up. Sorry, I gotta hop off, but thank you for allowing
Thanks,
me to
Pumpkin.
defend my name.
Yep. Love you. Bye.
I was good this time. Cheers, Meg. All the best. Bye-bye.
But yeah, that's what's so much fun about this movie. And then the home theater side of it, there's tons now seeing it, multiple times in the background and the details in the costumes and how like even their skin and stuff, how they make their skin seem kind of like, the hair, it's all like Barbie was. And there's so many scenes, like, John, you had sisters, they had Barbies, and you're going to see stuff in the backgrounds that you're going to be like, I remember stepping on that thing. It's so funny.
I had sisters and I have daughters, so
but I don't feel like did your daughters play with Barbie?
They had some when they were younger. Yeah.
It felt like my sisters had more, or Dawn had more Barbie stuff. My older sister, she's younger than me, but my older
they didn't.
too.
Yeah, they didn't have tons, but they, we always bought them Barbies.
Meg had a few, but it wasn't as big of the thing for her. It wasn't a big, and I didn't feel like it was even as big a thing then either. But yeah, there's so much to it. And then, and then the Barbie stuff, there is all the toys and everything are in there. But that's not what this movie's about.
No, it's not. But am I the only one who spent a large portion of the first viewing trying to work out the sizes of the screens in the background? I'm looking at them thinking, that's got to be an 85 inch, isn't it? Is that a 90? Is that a projector? Is that an LCD or an OLED? I was doing that for quite a while whilst looking at whilst also concentrating on the movie, honest. But it was I couldn't help but look at the screen in the background and work out where they were from.
I'll tell you one thing I did notice that I didn't notice in the theater was the background behind the boardroom that Will Ferrell was in through the windows. That's all CGI'd, but I'm like, that looked beautiful. And it was like, is that fake? because I don't even think that's what that skyline looks like that you'll see back
I'm
then.
sure it's all fake. Yeah,
yeah.
it's all
No. But I mean, like literally, not even like. I know they made it up, but did they use it from like that is a skyline there, and they just enhanced it, or you'll see what I mean, John. It's like it's not a spoiler.
But I think, the message for you, John, from me anyway, and me teach as well, is that this is not the movie you think it is. It's just not that stupid, fluffy kind of silly, kind of disposable sort of comedy that I think it was marketed as. It is something way more profound than that. And again, with familial responsibilities, the lines towards the end I found very moving. I did tear up during this at the end, which again would have never expected. There are some interstellar type lines in this that I think are again with familial responsibility. It goes right to the core of what I think that is, and I appreciate that's just me. But it's just so much better than it had any right to be.
I've always wanted to see it. Like I've wanted to see it since day one. I just haven't gotten around to it. So, I don't have to be convinced to watch it. I just haven't bought it yet.
Mattel when they got Greta Gerwig in to do this. I mean, what I don't know is whether Mattel approached them or she approached Mattel, or kind of how all that worked. That I don't know, because I haven't watched any of the extras as usual. But when Mattel got hold of that script, they must have just been rubbing their hands together and thinking, oh my God, someone has taken our child toy and turned it into some sort of existential comment on life, love, and everything else. And they must have been blown away when they read that script. And they tried it with the Lego movie again. Warner's in that with the Lego movie. The Lego must have been like, wow, what have you done with this? And to this, I think times 10 to the nth degree. Mattel must have just thinking, well, we've seen Hasbro with the Transformers movies, and look how that turned out. Obviously better than the Godfather, Deej. But so Hasbro end up with kind of G.I. Joe, and they end up with Transformers, loads of money, but no critical kudos other than Deej. Okay. Whereas, but with Mattel, they get one movie and hit it out of the park. And I mean, this thing is going to be up for Oscars, almost certainly. I mean, they must have just thought all their Christmases had come at once.
And it is that kind of thing with the doll too. Like the idea of Barbie when they started it. And it's like I said, I'm like, we could go, I have theories and ideas and the way that this can, and this is what it makes stuff like this so creative. Like they took something that, even to your point, Steve, like the trailers led you in one direction. That's the whole point of the movie. That's like everything you said in that summarization when Meg was here. It was like, that's exactly what this is about. It's like, don't judge anything. It's like, we are stereotypical, everybody, and there's a reason for that. But then at the same time, we're all different. Just like everybody in home theater in this, like if nothing else, like on Saturday, how much we all have in common, but yet how different we all are. Right? We're a stereotypical home theater guy. Yep. But how much different are we? The three of us sitting right here. One of the things, I mean, people tell us all the time, and one of the things I love about it is like we all come at it in a different way. Just the three of us. And it's the same thing with Barbie. And it's this movie is just pointing to that. And I think the doll was meant to do a certain thing, like they kind of talk about in the movie, and it kind of got warped, like like things tend to do. But there was a reason for that too. And it's like, that's what I said. It's like, so very rarely, if ever, when was the last time I did this, guys? But I already know what the title of this show was going to be before we got here. And I already wrote like, what's that?
Spider-Man 2? PS5.
Yes, exactly. No, I put, I said, this is like my opening line in the show notes. I said, few movies make a statement like Barbie, but is Barbie in 4K UHD a must-own home theater movie and experience? Not just the, and I think it is. What do you think?
Yeah. In a word, yes.
Yeah. I mean, but the experience too, because it's not an action movie, but the sound, the Atmos, the bass in like the music that they used in this, it was so punchy, like so poignant and punchy. It was like boom, 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 and like you could feel each of those notes. It was really, really nice. But I mean, there's no explosions and crazy stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like it was very loud too. I thought everything about this movie felt elevated. It's definitely not like what people would say like Atmos. It was definitely a louder movie. Like Lucy, you know how Lucy plays is really loud, and you're like, maybe I want to back that off. This movie was kind of like that. I didn't back it off, but some people may want to, because this one here, I thought it played really loud.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to think of an exact audio scene or sequence, but I remember thinking it was great. I mean, the video is great, does exactly what they wanted it to do. It's very bright, contrast is very high. It's beautiful. And what's the name of? I forget the lady from SNL who plays the thing. Oh God, what is her name?
Kristen Wiig. Was it?
No. She's the lady that was in Ghostbusters as well. She.
Yeah, she was.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Right, I forgot. Anyway, I didn't realize she had such blue eyes. I mean, it was always just enchanting.
All of them, and their eyes in this everything looked so good. But yeah, when you go back and watch it again, Steve, like listen to the notes and the music and stuff. It's so good. It's so, and again, you know, the dialogue's crystal clear, of course. But there's yep, there you go. There's so much to it. So, but yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. All right.
I can't wait to see what you think of it, John. I look forward to hearing your views on it.
Yeah, chatting again. Chat about it again.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Don't be shy.
I'm not.
And we'll have to make sure when Meg is available for when you see Meg 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
What else do we? Is that it? That's it, right? That's all.
Yeah.
This is a show. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That was probably that's going to come through really loud. So, all right. That will do it then. I guess we will wrap up from here. And thank you, everybody, for everything this past weekend, everything as we go forward. It's been a blast. And thank you for the patience in the chat today. We didn't get right to our home theater experiences right away, but yeah, I thought that was a pretty good reason not to. So
yeah.
All right. Anything else? You guys got anything else? Final words? We're running late, but good times. Time flies.
I've got dinner to eat. So
me too. John, I was going to take a picture and send it to you, but chicken catch. I made chicken cacciatore in the crock pot today.
Awesome.
For Jen when she came home, so the house would smell nice. So I was thinking of you while I was not cutting my fingers off.
Yeah.
So
one time you cut your finger one time.
I've cut mine many times, and I almost did while I was thinking of you. I go, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
So, all right. Until next week. I don't know what I have for Takeover Tuesday next week. I got another busy week. Way more stuff to get to. I got home. I got updates on the new theater. I've got tweak of the week. Who knows I can't wait to talk about my tweak of the week next week. Lots of fun stuff. So we'll see you next week. And until then,
go push play.
What he said.
Hey, Fred.
This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.